talk about something big. This is year 11 of All About the Girls. 11 years of impact, 11 years of community, 11 years of women showing up without permission and making things happen anyway. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because one woman had a vision. She didn't wait to be chosen. She didn't wait for someone to ask her to make an event bringing together this many amazing women at one time. She just went for it. So I need everybody on your feet if you can. Yes, stand up. I'll wait. Because we are not doing polite claps tonight. We are cheering and we are clapping without permission. We are dancing like we are in our cars and we forget that anybody can even see us. So I want you to bring the energy all the way up. Let me hear you for the founder of All About the Girls, the reason that we are all here tonight, Jenny Craig Brown.
Welcome to All About the Girls, part 11. What do we say if you've never been? What do we say here? Ashley knows. Whistle, whistle. We don't have to whistle, but we do hoot, we do holler, we do preach, and we do yell, whistle, whistle. Because we are, as Denise said, here to shout out all of these other amazing women and make sure that they know that we have their support. As most of you that know me know that this is one of my favorite nights of the year because we have so many women in this room from different walks of life. Women building businesses, leading organizations, raising families, changing careers, starting over, showing up, and figuring it out as they go. Tonight is about supporting one another, learning from one another, and leaving here with a few new ideas, a few new friends, and a bit more confidence. Before we get started, I want to hear it one more time for our opening performers, Mirror Image Dance Academy of Valparaiso. They were so good! And I also have to thank Denise Carpenter. Denise has been a part, as she mentioned, of All About the Girls since the early years. She was a speaker in year 2, back when I had no idea what I was doing. We had this idea that women needed a place to connect and learn from one another and inspire one another, and the rest, we kind of figured it out on our own. Over the years, Denise has been a source of advice to the new speakers, a podcast guest, and someone who can bring humor to any situation. She's seen this event grow, evolve, and survive even some of my more questionable ideas, like in year 2, when I gave her a bachelor-style rose as a thank you, that I hear is still a workplace meme, so it's fantastic. We're here for it. Thank you, Denise. Let's hear it for Denise Carpenter. And as she mentioned, this year's theme is without permission. When we landed on this theme, I loved it. And then I thought about why and how I was going to explain that, and I doubted if I related to it at all. Because if you know me, kind of like Denise, I'm a little bit of a pushy broad. I don't spend a lot of time waiting around for permission. I tend to get an idea and just go with it. Sometimes that's a strength, and I'm finding sometimes that might be taken as a flaw. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that's exactly why I connect to the theme. Because somewhere along the way, a lot of us forgot that we're actually allowed to choose now. As kids, everything happens with permission. Permission to go, permission to stay, permission to try. And then one day we're adults and no one tells us that the rules have changed. No one tells us that now we're the ones making decisions. So we find ourselves waiting until we're sure, waiting until someone else tells us that we're qualified, or waiting until someone tells us yes. But here's the thing. Life does not wait for permission either. Life happens every single day without permission. The good stuff, the hard stuff, the opportunities, the setbacks. And I think that's what makes this theme so interesting is it's not really about control. It's about what we do when we have control and what we do when we don't. I keep coming back to the image of a pinball machine. The ball is moving along suddenly just fine, and then suddenly, like, bam, it gets hit left, bam, it gets hit right, and you don't control every bounce. You don't control every surprise, but eventually the ball lands back in your hands. And then, in real life, this is where you get to decide. You get to decide what stays, you get to decide what goes, and you get to decide what's worth your energy. For me, That's what without permission means. Not waiting, not shrinking, and not asking someone else to approve your next move. And when life inevitably hands you something you didn't ask for, deciding what you're going to do with it. Because happiness isn't about controlling everything, as much as I've tried through my life. It's about being intentional with what you can control. So tonight, as you listen to these incredible women share their stories, think about what without permission means to you.